The following podcast may be explicit. One Joe Young presents Adventures from the Shed, a tabletop RPG podcast. You can find us online at adventuresfromtheshed.com.
And you have found us online at Adventures from the Shed. We are here after a bit of a break on our World of Darkness game with Eli running the game. We're going to get back to it tonight, and we're going to go around the table and say, hi, I'm going to start. I am Joe. I am playing Jonesy, the dude that fixes old PDAs. Let's just go over to my side here and let E-Man go next.
But E-Man, me? Hi.
It starts
everybody.
with an E, sorry. Yeah.
My name is Eli. I'm our storyteller for this World of Darkness game. I'm looking forward to seeing what everybody has remembered. But before we can do that, we still got to introduce everybody. Next in line, I believe, is R.
R stands for Randy, and he plays the, okay, Isaac Yusik. Welcome back, people. It's good to see you all. Well, we've been catching some Z's. Speaking of people that start with the name Z.
It's me. It's Zeb. I'm playing Crawford Barlett, in case you remember. I like soup. That's the end of the story.
And soup cubes. And soup-related items. And soup accessories.
So
Cool.
let's begin the session with a recap. I would like to know what all of you remember from our past sessions. As a matter of fact, since it's been a while since our last foray through the Capano Nuevo World of Darkness game, I would like a full recap, a quick and dirty, what is this story, where are we, and what are we doing next?
I can
for it.
handle that up until the last episode.
Nice.
So yeah, the beginnings of this tale was we had a fellow colleague go missing in the small coastside town of Capano Nuevo down there in old Texas. And the three of us, Crawford, Jonesy, and Isaac, were dispatched to investigate. We started our day at a really crappy Motel 6 and started to try and look around for any kind of clue that might, tell us where this person is. That journey took us to many places, such as not the burger place, the Burgers of Kings,
Burger Monarch.
Burger Monarch. We went there, got some lunch, and then the biggest or the most important thing that happened at the very beginning of that was we went to the church.
The Pamatafikatava.
Yes.
The People's Mission Bridge of the Fellowship Harvest Church of the Valley.
Yes.
Otherwise called Church of the Valley.
Church of the Valley. While there, we did some wonderful lying to some bishops or whoever is at the church, some priests, and we discovered that there was something strange and eerie about the statue there. Our activities didn't go unnoticed, which led to the police being called, which also led to Isaac making a run for it and getting arrested, which saved Jonesy and Crawford from
I'd like to
having to spend
interject
the night
here
in jail.
for a very important detail that might come around later. The police weren't called because you all were hanging around the church. The police were called because Isaac openly threatened a clergy member.
Oh, no. Isaac told him to step off, that there was a chupacabra nearby.
in a very interesting way. Get the fuck away from us.
6 feet. 6 feet.
This is me.
But yeah, while spending the night in jail, he ran into a wonderful fella by the name of Ricky, who eventually tasked him to use his very limited medical knowledge to help heal up some of his what we found out later to be fellow gang members. During that time, I believe we had found a watch on the church premises, we being Jonesy and Crawford, and went back to the hotel.
Cruz's watch. Yep.
Went back to the hotel, and Jonesy MacGyvered it with toothpicks, paper clips, and chewing gum to finally read some very limited information. We didn't really get much out of it, if we're being honest.
Yeah.
Then I started writing notes after that. We eventually.
So we did find on the watch, we found that he had an increased number of steps and 3 warning messages that were on his Fitbit. Essentially, you're being tortured, we're going to kill you, I think is what we got out of the watch messages. Whether it was true or not, that's what we got out of it.
And then I finally we all met back up after Isaac got dropped off by his cool new friend. And we let me see here. I wrote down find Victor Cruz. I wrote down find more soup. And then I believe we went to Burger Shop because that was someone had told us that we got a tip off that he was last seen at some point in time at the Burger Monarch. We accosted some poor like teenaged clerk. Yeah. And we got kicked out by management again.
Frontline.
When was the bar named Wheels? That wasn't the burger shop.
That was the last episode, I think.
Okay.
Wheels came after.
No.
After harassing the Burger Monarch employee and getting threatened with police by the manager because the one of the other workers handed you a napkin with writing on it.
No, sorry, she ran back out and gave us the napkin. She just
Yep.
And on that napkin was a map written by Victor Cruz of Storage Unit, which and with a reference to someone named Nika, and then I immediately dropped the fucking napkin into the sewer.
Yeah, that was Angela who was the teenager, and then Nika was on the
Yep.
I got these.
You dropped the napkin, and then I believe everybody rolled to catch it, and nobody succeeded.
No one caught it. Yep.
None of us put points into napkin handling, unfortunately. Nope. So when we went to roll it, it just failed miserably.
Yep. And I think we hit a roadblock at that point because I think we tied a leash to Jonesy and we just let him close his eyes and feel his way around different areas. Because I wrote down we got a weird vibe at the pier.
That's
what split up at that point
a Kelpie type monster. Yeah.
Isaac went to the hotel and called Ricky to go and see if he knew of a girl named Nika.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and Ricky was able to tell you that Nika had a bit of a reputation and usually hangs out at a bar called Wheels.
Yeah.
Y'all decided to meet there at the end of the day so that way Jonesy could seeing eye spirit dog his way around town. Isaac decided to just walk straight there and did make a stop at a
it was like a pawn shop or something like that where you bought me a Kevlar vest and I think something else, or maybe we didn't have
a stab proof vest.
Yeah.
We only had enough for one, and the guns and stuff are too expensive, I think, for what we had.
The most important thing that I think at that point that we kind of figured out was that we needed to be more discreet, and that the townsfolk were not welcoming of outsiders, and that they so far had been quick to shut down any kind of investigation or intrusion into their lives, and that they were very protective of one another, whether that person was across town or whatever. They just weren't talking. I believe we went to the bar, met a man named Barry.
Barry, the local drunk.
Yeah, wasn't he the failed?
He was a failed jazz musician, like Jesus.
Yes,
he
just
was
like
a carpenter that was a failed jazz musician.
He became a carpenter. Yep. Yeah. He told us about how Nika's all kind of crazy.
The The saxophone is the holiest of all instruments.
Yeah,
It's
man.
true. It's got a lot of notes in there.
Got a lot of notes in there.
Barry also told us that Victor visited the bar often with Nika, and he talked to Nika a lot. We finally met up with Nika. She was a firecracker. She was all kinds of over the place, yelling and screaming at us, trying to figure out what was going on. She said the last time she talked to him, he was going to a Mexican restaurant, and I don't think we picked too much else up from her. I know that we drove back to the motel with her.
Didn't she shoot the person on the motorcycle?
When she left, we heard gunshots, but we weren't really sure how that played out.
So
I remember Nika wanted to tell us, Eli wanted us to find out some more information from Nika, and it went absolutely nowhere.
in regards to Nika, when she met up with the group at Wheels, Jonesy's unseen sense was more active than it has ever been in his life, to the point of harming him, not just being uncomfortable.
Yeah, that's right. And she had she was freakishly strong.
Yeah.
Yep.
When you brought up Victor, her brash bullheadedness slipped away for a moment until she started realizing that y'all are just a bunch of idiots who don't know what they're doing. God damn it. Why are you so... But realizing that you all were looking for somebody that she was looking for, she became willing to cooperate and wanted to speak privately. Thus,
Didn't she at one point tell Zeb to read the chat in StreamYard? I think.
Yeah, I'm doing it right now.
Okay. Go on, Eli.
She did actually show Zeb. I think it was Zeb specifically, their last text conversation, which confirmed that you did have the right woman, because they were supposed to meet up for lunch at Burger Monarch, but that fell through.
Zeb, I just want to say it's nice that your shirt or your cup matches Eli's shirt.
What? Whose cup?
Hold up.
My
Zeb's cup matches your shirt, and my shirt is supposed to be the colorful Hawaiian one. I'm just off today, man.
This is as close as I get to a turtle.
Speaking of off, Randy, it looks like your room is askew.
it's like the foundation.
It's fixed.
I don't know why it's going all sideways.
Yes.
I think that about the podcast all the time.
She drove y'all back to your motel rooms. Not a lot more information was gained, but it was implied that they did. She and Victor had quite the adventure in the 2 weeks that they knew each other. Caused a lot of ruckus. It's implied that she caused the damages to the statue of Saint what's his face at the church.
Yep.
That's cool. I don't think I got that.
They
That's
pulled it
okay.
with a truck and chain or something like that.
Yeah.
Said fuck all this God shit, and then they pulled the statue down.
No, she said fuck that statue.
Yes.
Specifically.
It would.
And then she did a Hail Mary.
Me and the Lord, we straight.
We're straight. That statue, fuck you.
Fuck that statue. She, after getting back to the motel, she realized just how little information y'all had, and kind of just left y'all to the wolves. She did give you her contact information to let her know if anything happens, if you get any new information. She's willing to help however she can, but y'all don't have any more information than she does, at least that y'all offered to her. So she thinks she's back at square one. And yes, when she drove out of the motel room, y'all were already back into your motel room when she drove away. You heard a screech, or the screeching of tires, 3 gunshots, and then silence. Going out to investigate, you found a man with a biker gang jacket on, 2 holes in his chest, 1 hole in his motorcycle. He tried to tell you something. Y'all tried to call the cops. Unfortunately, nobody who spoke Spanish was there with him in his dying moments. You'll have his phone, so you have some knowledge of...
whoa. Don't forget. We
will.
put his body in the dumpster.
Okay, that was after looking through his phone a little bit.
Yeah.
You do have some knowledge on local gang activity, at least roughly, because of translating Spanish.
Yeah.
And yes, you did dispose of the body in the motel's dumpster along with the motorcycle.
With the janitor going first time?
He also had I wrote down that he had a barbershop card in his wallet.
Yes, which y'all opted not to go visit because everybody in this city seems very territorial. This guy is a confirmed gang member, and barbershops kind of have a reputation for having their regulars, and y'all are not those people.
I didn't think we could sound worse as a group of people until I hear the recap said so condensed like this. We really are a bad group of people.
Oh, we're terrible. Like this man got shot, and then we were like, I don't know, just put it in the dumpster.
Hey, we were preparing to go and start doing journeys. We were just Group D.
You want me to define bad? I'll replay the last 25 minutes. That's the definition of bad.
Joe, we've only been recording for 16.
And? Oh, man.
But anyways.
So, Eli, do you want to recap our sidebar of when we played the other side? Or do you want one of us to try and do that? Because it already happened, and anybody who's listening to this has probably already listened to them. So
at this point in the story, the sidebar with the steel mill, which is just across the street from the main story's motel, would have happened.
It was like night 2 or 3 for us, I believe.
Yeah. Because one of the nights you heard a gunshot ring out and you thought, it's just that side of town, apparently. Let's ignore it.
We just went back to sleep.
But that's when the living nightmare happened for the sidebar. And it was very different. Yeah, Eli's looking all around like something's going on. You're muted, but there you go.
My mic unplugged when I readjusted my seat, and I don't... Does everything sound okay?
Camera.
Yeah,
it sounds fine. Yep, you're good.
Your mic, my camera, Zeb's name, Joe's personality.
That's it, man.
It's all breaking.
I don't know if you saw earlier, but I found something on the floor under my foot, and I picked the F up. It's literally
I did see F that. I was looking very confused.
Under my foot. Like, why the F do I have this? But anyway,
go ahead and give me a recap for the sidebar. For context, this was a mission doled out to 2 of the gang members under Ricky's supervision.
Yep.
So I've got a bit of it, in my head there of and definitely jump in and correct as I go or fill in more color. But we kind of started with the gang that we've been helping as our normal characters needed to go rescue a guy who was being held captive in the steel mill. And I really liked our attempts at being clandestine. Go ahead.
I was going to say, I think we didn't know it was a guy. We were told to go get something.
It was an asset. I think
an asset.
Yeah, that kind of thing.
Y'all were told.
Big boss.
Yeah, Big Boss asked y'all to get one specific thing, and that was blueprints to the steel mill.
Right. Yes.
And he gave you the context and implied that the context was more important. He wanted the blueprints so he could send a different, better team to get
the asset.
Yeah. And we just decided there was no one better than us.
Clearly
took it from there.
Right.
We were kind of trying to sneak in, going through the side door, pretending to be employees, kind of, sort of.
Yeah,
we kind of raided HR and accounting. And we got into one point where our characters are kind of cornered in the head accountant's office, and we just go and came out with guns blazing, and then all I can think of that I had in my head for it was like a nightmare Ginsu knife monster. Something was coming after us. And we were just shooting at things essentially at random, just running through different doors, hoping we would find blueprints and or the asset. Right.
Yeah, if I remember right, we kind of split up because I think Joe's character was like a big burly dude, and my guy was like a little small and wiry.
Yeah,
and like
it was Manny and Mars.
Yeah,
and I think Mars was able to get through a window that Manny couldn't get through, and that's how they ended up splitting up. Yeah.
Yep. But then one of us had like a somewhat ability to sense the supernatural, and that was like once that happened, we took off from whatever the fight was that was happening, and eventually found the unnamed man tied to a chair, and I freed him and said, "Let's get the fuck out of here."
And we ran and we ran and we ran, and then there was a gunshot right near the end of that.
Yeah, well, a car picked up me and the tied up guy, but I believe Mars had to walk home or something like that, or walk back to the car. Manny had to walk back to the car, and something caught up with him, and then there was a gunshot,
single gunshot.
Yep.
Does that capture enough of what you want to have captured, Eli?
It's a very accurate. I won't say good, but it was a very accurate recap. One important piece of information that was left out was that the y'all's firefight was with this on-site security force.
Yes.
And then it went from, this is just a pseudo fire alarm to lights went down. This is emergency lights. PA system saying this is a code black. Stay at your station or you will be terminated permanently.
Yep.
Okay.
That's an important piece of context there. I feel it was a firefight, but it escalated into something worse that you're not sure why it was worse.
What it was, and we never saw whatever was there.
But there was clear panic. We had to get out.
Yep. Yeah, because the security team was also panicked, and they were like kitted out. They were like SWAT team.
Yep.
High tech with like fully automatic weapons.
Full kit, like night vision goggles, SMGs, squad tactics, actually like coming in, pinching you down. As soon as it went to that code black, they were like, "Oh, we gotta go. We gotta fucking go. Disengage." Also,
I just remembered the shotgun: 1 shell, 2 shell, red shell, blue shell.
Yes,
and
Manny
explosive stuff. That was cool.
Who caught wind that he was going to the steel mill, and that friend, if I remember correctly, left him a letter that said, "Hey, I know you're not going to back down from this. I want you to, but you're not going to. So just be safe. I left you some tools in the trunk of your car, and the tools were a box of regular 12 gauge buckshot and an unlabeled box that seemed to be some sort of slug with blue shells."
Yep.
And
as soon as you mentioned the SMGs, I remembered I had the gun. So
those were extremely powerful. And you loaded them specifically red, blue,
alternating, because I didn't know what it was going to do.
Yep. It was very specific, and I do remember keeping track of which shells were fired when.
Yep.
And spoiler alert, that is what caused Manny's death.
Oh my. Oops. Poor guy.
He had a 50-50 shot on which shell was loaded next.
Oops.
But yeah. So Manny presumably died that night. Nobody was able to find the body. Fast forward back to the main story after the visit with Nika. Zeb.
What did we do after that? That was when we decided, if I'm remembering right, that was when we decided, hey, we really got to check out this storage unit. But I believe we also went to the Mexican restaurant first.
Well, yeah, we found out that that was supposed to be where he was going, I think, initially.
Yeah, because she said that they were supposed to meet at a Mexican restaurant. So we wanted
El Taco.
Yeah.
And
so
plus,
wanted
we
to
had
go
to
there and
bail
check it out.
because Mars had showed up and said that there was gangs after us, and so we need to get out of there as soon as possible.
Yep. Yeah. Because I think Isaac asked for
Was that
backup
before or
from
after?
Ricky or
He
something
went
like
with
that.
us to the storage unit, which was right after the Deltopia.
Yep.
So-
Both are correct.
Yeah.
Isaac
Yeah, and-
reached out to Ricky for an extra set of hands. Ricky said, "I know just the guy." Sent Mars, and Mars said, "Hey, we gotta leave. What are you doing here?"
I don't think that we got anything of value from the Mexican restaurant. I just remember like having like
Joe's senses went off, and he walked right
Oh,
out
yeah.
the back door.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
And you guys started heading that way, and then it was going towards the storage unit. So we back traced to get the car, so we could split off and give you guys time to go and break in there.
Yep.
And
Yeah, and then we split up. So yeah, so then Crawford and Jonesy went through a hole in the fence or cut a hole in the fence, and we Jonesy felt his way to the correct storage unit,
Mhm.
and that was when Crawford got swallowed up by the void.
Now, Eli, if you can help me remember if this was my clever name for the storage place or yours, but it's ZZZ Storage, so storage, so safe you can sleep on it.
The tagline was all you.
Okay, because I had that written down. That on my extensive storage notes, that was
'cause
part of it.
What I described it as was triple Z storage, and you took that as storage.
So safe you can sleep on it. Cool.
Then Crawford got sucked into the void. Jonesy didn't. Jonesy got the door open and started rummaging through stuff. I can't remember exactly what you found.
Oh,
There
Joe
was,
will let us know.
Oh yeah, this was my most extensive note taking. The storage unit itself. I had a desk, a chair, a journal, and boxes. And I remember in the episode, I was like, when Eli had described it, I was also expecting him to describe that on the wall there would be this chart of all the pictures and red string connecting the dots, like somebody's conspiracy thing. But what was actually in there was boxes that had books and information from the 16th century, and then there was a journal that was knocked to the floor. And in the journal, it mentioned Sebastian and Grohl. Also mentioned the park ranger, and to talk to him because he knows something. The desk drawer had an old dead personal digital assistant, like an old Palm Pilot. Jonesy started to improvise a charging cable, and that went with us farther into the story, but it was still within the storage unit. There was a secret compartment on the side of the desk that had 3 pieces of paper in it. One was an old photo of a man, woman, and 2 children in an amusement park, which is, of course, creepy. As soon as you say old photo in amusement park, that makes it creepy.
Yeah.
Then a photo of a man in a fine suit standing in front of the statue at the church, also relevant because statue at the church comes back up. And then one was a sketch of a woodland scene. And kind of at the same time that was happening, and Crawford was in the film noir, Dark and Stormy Night area, I think he actually saw a figure that looked like the statue. And I remember trying to match it in my head. Was this like the guy who was in the thing? But of course, Jonesy wasn't really there, although he was there, like 20 feet from him, but not in the same place. Yeah.
Yeah, like you could feel me, and I think you were trying to like pull me out or something. I can't remember.
Well, I was
exactly.
cotton candy without a core.
That's
He
what it
reached
was.
out
That's
to
it,
touch
yeah.
me.
Yep.
It's like, I think Eli said, it feels like cotton candy without a core. Like, and then I think it was Randy that said, "Yeah, that's Jonesy."
I said that.
That's
it was
it's a
me.
weird feeling, man. Yeah.
So Crawford got pulled into the zone, but then so did Isaac and Mars.
And I think Jonesy got a glimpse of it, but then convinced himself back out of it by tuning into one of his crystals. Yeah.
He placeboed his way back to reality.
Exactly.
Yeah, he was like, "This is real. This is real. This is real."
Nope.
A delicious placebo. I like it.
But I remember because it was near the gate, right? If I remember right, so it was far away from me. Crawford was freaking the fuck out. He didn't believe in any of this, 45 minutes before, before 2 or 3 days ago, however long it was. He didn't believe in anything supernatural, so it's like his entire worldview has been crushed, and he doesn't know what is going on. and if I remember right,
Isaac
Mars,
started blasting.
yeah, Isaac started blasting because Mars was inconsolable. He just he was just like praying or something like that. He was just
he
like,
was,
in
he was
shock.
rambling.
And then I smacked him in the sore spot, and then he turned into a child, and then he turned back into Mars.
That's awesome.
Okay, no, he didn't turn into a child. You you punched him in the gut to have him gather his bearings. Try and shock him out of the being in shock. Turned around, looked at the statue, pointed a gun at it, said, "Take me home, you astral piece of shit." You looked back at Mars, and instead of Mars, there was a small child that you didn't recognize that kind of looked like Mars. And you looked back at the statue, pointed the gun at it. "I mean it, motherfucker." And you looked back at Mars, and he was still in the fetal position, but it was actually Mars. And then you shot the statue. If I remember correctly.
I think that's a pretty good description.
Pretty much.
And then I think I don't remember exactly how I got pulled out of it. I maybe the shot was the thing that did it.
I think that dropped the
illusion.
Isaac, right? It was Isaac that actually shot.
Yeah. The only people that shot was Zeb in the sky. Apparently, shooting God, I guess.
Yep.
Both.
I curse you. Yeah.
The gunshots were all tinny and far away. Isaac shot the statue, and when he looked back to Mars to try and start figuring out what the hell was wrong with him, he found that he was back in reality, looked back over to where the statue was, and instead saw Zeb or Crawford having his opacity turned back up.
It was like I came back into the real life.
Somebody slid the fader all the way, so he came back to reality. Yeah.
And then I think Isaac called Ricky again or Randy. What was his name? No, your name's Randy.
My name's Ricky. Ricky.
Yeah, Ricky. He called him because we were all kind of freaking out, and he said, "Meet back at the hotel, but you can't stay there anymore." So we went back to the hotel and loaded up all of our stuff into Ricky's car, and then he took us somewhere.
Well, one of us took Ricky's car, which I think was me and Ricky talking, which is how I got the rundown of how they actually have Victor. And Ricky's like, I went out of this, man, and I kind of convinced him to work with us still. So he's like, I kind of know where to go. And so he took us to this house.
Yeah, because I drove Mars's car. That's what it was. Yep.
Yeah, you were dragging and throwing out cigarettes. Chain smoking. Just throwing them out.
You were smoking the first drag of each cigarette you had.
Yeah.
So we get there.
And I was in the back seat using the lighter to get the PDA working again, trying to hotwire it through the car. Yeah. Yeah.
So getting to the place that Ricky said, I think I know someone who might help. You were saying, Randy?
We arrived at this place, and it's like a guy with a baseball bat and a bunch of other guys hanging out outside, and he basically told us all to shut up and go inside the house, and Ricky to go with him. And then they started being kind to us inside the house and was like, "Oh, yeah, come on inside." And I was like, "Oh, fuck, Mars is outside, so I'm going to go back outside and go and make sure they get him some help." And that's when I needed to go for a minute. Well, a while.
And the dude had 2 sheds. Not just one, but he had 2 sheds.
2 sheds.
Twice the adventure. I think we already made that joke.
It was, and if I remember right, they were some redneck looking people,
Yep.
Right. It was just kind of run down,
One lady would go so far as to call them good old boys.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
The lady was all hospitality, offering us sweet tea and whatever else.
Yeah.
And,
That'd be Tina, because she's named after my boss. No, not really, but same name.
Maybe your boss is named after her.
Yeah. And then when Isaac left, I made a solo decision because Jonesy was locked in.
You made an executive decision.
Locked into the PDA.
Yeah, Jonesy was so locked in the PDA, it didn't matter if a bomb went off. He was like, I got to fix this thing.
I knew the end of the episode was in there. I just knew it.
I have to find it. I got to have it.
So I made the executive decision.
The end of the episode is mine.
I went to the bathroom and I called for backup. I said, we need help, code red or whatever it was. And
Becky, seriously, it's not green, it's not black, and it's not gold, it's black.
It's
God,
it's not good. And yeah, and then I went back and I told Jonesy. I said, "Look, I just called for backup," and he's like, "Yeah, sure, whatever, dude." And I and I said, "Don't tell Isaac, because he might get mad that I called for backup without asking." You know,
Definitely, dude. I
without
won't
consulting the group.
not tell him. Yeah, man.
And that was, if I remember right, that was pretty much it. That was where it ended.
That was right near it, yeah, because shortly after that, the thing booted up. And I remember just listening to it a little while ago, and Eli actually had a boot up sound for the pilot.
Yeah.
So I thought it was kind of neat. But, and then we went through the end of episode or end of session stuff where we went around and talked about the experience. And then Randy came back. We had our parting
collected
joke.
my Pika points.
Yeah.
Yep.
So at that, I think, where do we want to kick off this one?
We are going
Story
to
Man.
kick off this one with Isaac, as we spent the end of the last session seeing what Jonesy and Crawford are doing. We're going to go see Isaac visiting Mars. When you step back outside, you see that most of the gentlemen that were hanging out on the porch are walking into one shed, but one guy has Mars over his shoulder, like in what's it called, a fireman's carry, and is taking him to a different shed, the other shed. So most of them went into one shed with Ricky. This guy's going into the other shed alone with Mars.
Oh, geez, you're strong. Could you be careful carrying him though? He got kind of shaken up on the way here.
The old double shit.
Don't worry about him. He's in good hands.
Wait,
you mind to get in the door for me?
You're like a doctor. Oh, yeah. Let me get this. So I opened the. Is it like the big garage door, or just the side garage door with the knob?
Yeah, it's just like a knob.
Okay.
As you open the door for him, he tells you, "I'm actually."
No.
Yep, there we go. And inside, you see that it is a large table with some medical equipment up on one wall. You see different drawers and filing cabinets. Everything is very organized. Everything is very neat. Everything is very clean. He carefully sets them down on the table and he looks back at you and he says, could you get me some gloves out of that drawer?
Yes.
I'm actually a head veterinarian at the research center in the wildlife park nearby.
Oh, you don't say. I've done a little bit of medical work too.
Really?
That's what all torture psychos say when they invite you into their torture shed. Be careful.
Actually,
then I expect you to be of some use.
You see that bleeding spot right there on his leg?
Yeah.
I patched that up and then I poked it later.
Oh.
He definitely needs a Band-Aid.
You know what? Whatever.
Yeah,
and
circumstances.
Are you going to assist him with this with patching your friend back up?
Since he asked, Isaac will go ahead and agree to assist. Are you a medium, large, extra large? Which one? You look like an extra large fella. Here you go.
Right on the money. You'd make a good assistant.
As he puts on his mediums.
Go ahead and give me a wits medicine.
Wits medicine.
This should be 3 dice for you.
Yep.
3d10. First roll of the night. Is Mars going to die here?
Let's see what we
got.
No.
No, as in not going to die.
Those 2 successes are a 1 and 2 9s, which actually takes it to 1 success.
Huh. I forget. Is it 9 considered crits to roll, or is it 10 again? I forget.
It's 10 again.
It's 10 again.
Yeah.
Okay.
I am going to go ahead and roll 5 dice for the
good doctor
vet, as he claims to be.
The good vet.
And
it was there. I didn't see it.
2 7s, a 4, and 2 3s.
He actually got no successes. He's he's caught off guard by just how competent you actually are. So much so that it's actually distracting him a bit.
Nice.
He's clearly not used to working with people who actually know what they're doing.
Wait, Randy's throwing him off too because he's like singing a song while he does it. Like in that voice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Raindrops falling.
Falling on my head. Actually, what I was thinking was, let's see, what was that song? It's clearly now the rain is gone. That's what I was actually
Yes.
thinking. I can see all obstacles in my way.
We gotta let Eli do the do here.
So
So
just opening a blade for no reason, like, oh, sorry.
once
Nice.
Mars is stitched back up, he asked you, so how did he fall unconscious? He doesn't seem to have lost that much blood.
It was psychosomatic.
He knocked himself unconscious?
Sort of. Do you believe in ghosts?
More than I should.
So it's like he saw a ghost and freaked out, and then I tried to check him out of it by tapping the area I fixed it before, and he kind of just buckled over and then collapsed not too much longer after that.
Uh-huh. Well, I think the best thing for him now is just going to be to rest. Could you, in that closet there is a gurney. Could you go ahead and get that out?
Will do.
We'll see if we can't wheel him into the house for a comfier bed.
He walks over, grabs the gurney, pops it up. All right, so count of three.
Uno, dos, tres.
Fish.
And you start to move Mars up into the house. At this point, Crawford and Jonesy have already had their conversation about the call to headquarters. So Jonesy is now looking through the PDA. Joe, actually, I've put this in everybody's library, I believe. You should now have the old PDA handout.
Just for some.
I hope we don't lose it in the wind.
I'm pretty sure that Crawford fell asleep from stress.
Oh, right. He went to go
Yeah.
take a nap. So he's
yeah, like
he's
I'm just in the
trying to
living
fall
room,
asleep.
Like,
he's trying to fall asleep.
okay.
And then Isaac walks in with the gurney and hi guys, we should be back.
What's up, fellas? What's shaking, bacon?
What is shaking, bacon? Decades old PDA, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah. So the readout for the PDA is such: a decades old PDA, barely charged but undamaged, capable of tracking data such as notes, dates, etc., storing, although not necessarily opening, files, and limited GPS functionality. Whether the satellites it uses are still up is another matter.
Uh-huh.
Most of the files on this device are password protected, but no means of entering said password is visible to you. The few files you have access to are a bizarre collection of notes scattered across various folders. The following files are what you're able to access, at least the ones that seem pertinent. There is Marble Martyr. The notes are: low staff, locals love him, never a flower out of place or not in bloom. Creepy, dead zone for activity, fine border. File name: Wild Things. Dense
You make
flora.
my heart sing. Oh, sorry.
Dense flora, too dense. No machines within 100 feet. 2 drones missing within 6 hours. Park ranger always there when I turn around. File name: Prince. This file is a series of numbers that you, Jonesy, recognize as identification numbers for a library. It seems to reference several non-fiction books.
He was going to change that name to the artist, by the way.
File name: Watchers. New players, probably a scout. Honey for this fly, not vinegar. The last one of note is file name: Terminator.
Sarah Connor.
In all caps, it reads, "Keep away from Youth Street. It saw me."
It being
Let's go to
Schwarzenegger.
Street, y'all.
It being a large Austrian man
Yeah.
known for powerlifting and acting.
It's not a tuna.
Come with me if you want to live.
Who is
not
the
just a
daddy
statue.
and what does he do?
I
I'm in
definitely
class A.
I would once what's his face there? Isaac. Once Isaac is back, I definitely get Crawford up. Maybe make him a fresh cup of broth first. Get him up, and then share this new information with him. I think, in my opinion, dudes, we so got to check out like the Youth Street thing. I mean, yeah, it sounds creepy, but come on, man.
And I'm like,
anytime it says keep away, you gotta go.
If it is the same thing that we saw at the storage unit, I don't know, man. I might just stay here.
Well,
You mean that guy trying to give you a hug?
We can stay far enough away from it, man. Does any of this other stuff make sense to you guys?
Well, if I remember right, Jonesy, you did say something about a park ranger in the notes that you saw.
Yeah, but like we're park rangers when nobody's paying attention, right? I mean,
you got a point. Maybe this guy was talking about Victor.
That's what I thought, man.
Interesting.
So, like, the other one, too, like the marble martyr, you think they're talking about the statue, man?
I mean, never a flower out of place, no, or not in bloom.
I don't remember the flowers, but yeah, creepy.
And
Dead
locals love
zone.
him. It's got to be the statue. It's got to be that freaky fucking statue.
Yeah, man.
As a quick note, when describing the church all those sessions ago, I did say that there was some topiary with flowers all throughout at the edge of the courtyard. It was what divided the courtyard from the walkway to the main door.
And like, yeah, and like where we were near the statue and where I first got sucked in.
You first got fucked in?
Yeah, I got fucking fucked.
Jonesy's always wearing some sort of flowered shirt, so the other flowers just don't matter. He doesn't retain that other flowers exist. Right.
So Joe is the wild thing because he wears dense floor and he's too dense.
Yes.
No, can't be true. Machines are within 100 feet all the time for him. Never mind.
So the other thing, dudes, like drones. We haven't seen drones, but this is like 2 drones missing.
Can we order?
Do we use drones? Does
how
the
we can buy.
company use drones, man?
So do you think when he sees the park ranger, when he turns around, does he turn around again and the park ranger's there again? Just teleport to find him?
If he spins around in a circle, does he always see him?
Is the park ranger in the room with you now? Look behind you, quick!
I'm wondering if the Watchers,
Eli looks.
this new players, like who could that be, right?
I think
Could that be one of the affiliated gangs, or could it be us?
I think a good place to start might be a library with the whole file name Prince, the series of numbers that we recognize them. So, like identical numbers for a library.
I absolutely love this idea. That means we don't have to go to U Street. Libraries aren't scary. Who's scared in a library?
The artist formerly known as Dewey Decimal. Sorry, Eli. Yeah, that one.
I knew it. I knew making this handout that file name was going to become a problem.
It was going to be a problem. But it's question mark. It makes it even better.
So
Right?
I feel like there was something pressing at the end of the last one. Like we were going.
We're about to go on a full-on raid. I think.
Yeah, like we were gonna like raid something. But
Well, we're probably gonna meet up and see what they think because they're having a talk with Ricky right now, and
Right.
I think the plan was to get them on our side. Right now, they're being kind to us, but we're probably about to see what happened with that conversation here in a second.
Yeah, the way
Conversation with the Louisville Slugger.
Yeah.
Yeah, the way that the Louisville Slugger spoke to y'all, it sounded like you 3 were guests, and Mars too, because he's an injured, unconscious man. But Ricky was in trouble. That's what it sounded like to you. You're kind of just awaiting the executioner's call on if Ricky is still part of this adventure or not.
Did our correspondence say how long it was going to take for the additional staff to arrive?
Hey, who's got Nika's number? Because pretty sure she said to contact her if we found out anything about Victor Cruz, and we kind of did.
It gives me weird vibes, man. I don't know.
We could
Crawford-
probably use whatever help we could get, really.
As you're saying this, you're thinking back on the standard operating procedures in case of emergencies. In a situation like this, invoking Code Black, your backup, if there is any within 3 hours, will be there at 3 hours max. But if they have to bring in agents from other fields, then you're looking at 6 to 12.
Okay.
Days.
But because we're like not even the A or the B or the C team, they're actually just going to send drones, and there's already 2 missing, so we're screwed.
Due to an excessive loss of equipment in the area, drone backup has been denied.
Damn it!
Well, yeah, I'd say let's go see if we can talk Ricky out of his bad situation, and then afterwards we could either split up. 2 people could go to Old U Street, and 1 person could probably go to the library.
I admire the optimism, but I would gather, based on our recap a little while ago, that situations are only made bad because of us talking.
I think we should probably not
I don't
just.
think we talk out of bad situations at all. I think into is probably more likely.
We
Or
should
maybe we
probably
just
not
look into
leave
the
too.
window.
Probably not leave and make these guys suspicious of our activities and all that. So
Yeah, I want to wait and talk to them before we do anything else.
We should. He's been on our side.
By
And
the way-
we've kind of been on his side. Kind
have
of.
you tried to say suspicious about your activities with a lisp? It's really friggin' hard.
I always leave that to one of the other personalities.
Mhm.
So you all are opting to wait until the sluggers meeting with Ricky is over.
Can we look through windows? Is there a window in the garage?
There's
on
not a
that.
window on the shed. It is
Okay.
just
Can we at
walls.
least hear the beatings?
You can attempt to eavesdrop through the door.
Oh, yeah. Jonesy wants to know what's going on without interrupting anything. So
Isaac's very curious too. 'Cause
Ricky is his friend.
Crawford's going to hold down the fort and just be on his laptop for a little while.
So this is going to be a
I completely
Two-
forgot to open my character sheet, so it's taking me a moment to get there. But go ahead.
to eavesdrop. I'm going to say that this is going to be a wits subterfuge.
Oh, Witsterfuge.
Yes. And this is for anybody that wants to eavesdrop.
Which Witsterfuge? Submit.
I got
Oh,
one in
I
there.
guess I could share it. That button, Joe. That button. Oh, I had a success. Isaac did not have a success.
Isaac had a botch.
I had a botch.
Yeah, I had an 8 and a 5, and Isaac had a 1, a 6, and a 4.
Is Crawford going to be eavesdropping?
I guess I'll get a little curious and put my laptop away. And like I imagine like you guys are both like with your ear to like up against the door crouched, and I'm gonna like I come over like little kids listening to their parents fight.
Oh,
What
wow.
are you guys listening to?
You said wit subterfuge?
Yes.
All right, here we go. I rolled a 10.
Would
Hey,
you
that's
like
a
to re-roll that
success.
10? You have
for
just
it.
the 110.
10 again?
10 again.
Ooh, okay,
Got
he's
moved
going
out of
for
the
it.
way.
7.
So just one success.
Just one.
Isaac, you are at a botch. Do you have any willpower that you would like to spend?
I'm pretty maxed out on willpower. I thought we cleansed that one of the recent times. Maybe not. No, it was probably the side characters that we cleansed that actually all at once.
Okay.
I can't remember
Yeah,
because I'm
you-
only missing one.
I'm
Yeah,
missing
I'm down
three
one
out of
as
my-
well.
That's
Isaac
cool.
has had to use a few.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
He's been the unluckiest motherfucker in this game.
Yeah.
Yeah, if with one more loss of willpower, you're gonna be in a bad spot.
All right. Please,
Yeah.
please don't let the door be fake and it's just a curtain that looks like a door and he falls right through it.
That'd be
I'll
awesome.
just let it play out as is.
All right.
Okay. In that case, I am going to need Isaac to give me a presence occult or a wit animal ken.
Let's
I
see.
felt like it was going to be a flat out bribe for a moment. I would like Isaac to give me a present, and then we'll see if he succeeds.
I would like Isaac to
Well,
Venmo me $5.
Both pretty much the same. -3 on skill. You guys are okay.
That's crazy.
So not gonna do the occult then?
So I guess I should be doing animal ken since that I don't want to start out with a -3. So wits then. Okay, bear with me a moment. Wits and animal
He has to
ken.
gather his wits so he can roll for wits.
I just gotta deselect other things because I didn't notice the -3.
That's the part I always forget too.
So it's not telling me what they were.
Okay,
So
so,
I see only one die rolled as a 7.
correct. That's what that readout is showing.
That's weird.
So with 0 successes, Isaac, you push your ear up against the wall, sliding closer and closer to the door, and suddenly it gives way? No, because you could feel the door as you push it. This is more like the door disappeared.
Oh, geez.
Jonesy and Crawford,
Oh crap!
you are able to hear some of the conversation. You see nothing wrong with Isaac. Isaac, you are in the shed. At
Getting
least
beat.
you're certain that that's where you should be. The space around you does look to be a shed, but the colors are blurry. Where the table meets the wall is unclear. You see 4 figures standing, one sitting in a chair. You're able to recognize one of the figures. It's the gentleman with the bat, except the bat is not a bat anymore. It's a sword with strange runes on the blade.
What's
He
that?
turns to you, and when his eyes meet yours, you are hit with a primal fear. You know you have 3 options here.
The spiritual pressure.
You can try and kick its ass and die trying. You can stay where you are and hope it doesn't actually see you. Or you can run.
Isaac's confused about the situation, what's going on, so he's going to back out to regroup, is what he's going to try to do.
D, all of the above.
Run!
Okay, so you decide to flee.
Somebody just fleed right behind you.
As stealthily as possible.
Yeah.
Realizing that you are completely out of your depth here, you put one foot behind the other
Whataburger?
and try to move back out of the shed. You do manage to get out of the shed, but now I need you to roll me a willpower. Subtract your current spent willpower from your dice pool.
How do you roll just a willpower again?
You just count.
Just roll out your die count.
Okay, so I have 4 willpower. I've used 3, so I roll 1 straight up die.
Actually, go ahead and add presence into that roll. So give me 2 more dice.
Okay, presence is 2. So how do I just do 3
3
dice?
dice.
Then? It's been a bit since we've done this. 3 dice.
Click
So
on the D20 looking thing, and it'll give you a list of dice you can pick from.
I
And
just
then
click.
you can click
3.
3 tens.
Oh, cool!
1,
awesome.
7, and 1. Oh my
I'd
god.
love to see that.
That's not good.
So do we actually see Isaac explode into a fine red mist, or
Well, okay, would you like to spend your last willpower to force this?
That sounds like I probably should. So I'm going to go ahead and do that.
Isaac has lost his last willpower point. In stepping out of the shed, he realizes that he's not where he should be. He's not crouched there by the door handle. He's about 5 feet back, watching 3 grown men eavesdrop on a shed, and realizing, oh, I'm one of those guys. I should probably be back there.
What?
You force yourself back into your own body, but the journey is exhausting.
the park
You
ranger's
hardly
right
feel
behind
like
you, man?
yourself anymore. Isaac, your first mask has been peeled away until your willpower regains at least 1 point. So you are no longer Isaac, you are Yusik.
You sick.
And in case this isn't clear, another step like this you will be forced to be we all sick at all.
The psycho. Yeah.
Nice.
The complete psycho and not just the aggressive one.
So was Yusik the one when his eyes rolled over and he threatened Ricky?
That was, yeah, pretty much.
It yes, it
It's
was
like-
the forward. It was the
Yeah.
stand your ground man, not the
Okay.
take a step forward man.
Okay.
Your mechanical rolls are all the same. So just explore this side of your character as Isaac is taking a spirit nap in the back of his mind.
I can see clearly now. Where the fuck am I?
While this is happening, the other two, the single successes on the eavesdropping roll, you hear muffled
We can hear
conversation.
what the F is going on?
You hear most of what the F is going on. It's muffled. It's hard to make out some words, but you can tell tone. And it sounds like only two people are talking. One is very angry. One is panicking. It sounds like the one that is angry is... They're not yelling. They're not raising their voice. But you can tell with their speech pattern and just the kind of this rumble that reverberates against the shed. They mean business, and they're not taking any bullshit. The one panicking, presumably Ricky, is singing like a canary. He's saying anything and everything that he can to try and get out of the situation. And this isn't quite like the Ricky that you know, that you're used to working with. He, while very forward, was never one to divulge more than he needed to. At one point, all conversation stops. And Jonesy, you get that breeze rushing across the back of your neck. It fades for just a moment before turning to an itch,
Uh-oh.
and then it fades completely.
Like, dude, Crawford, there's something creepy, man. It's happening again. They're here.
Should we leave?
Probably, but I don't want to.
I can't hear anything anymore.
Isaac, you hear it, man?
I just not here no more.
I don't remember Yusik being that creepy. I thought Isaac was the creepy one.
So
as long
I,
as he
I'm
has
trying
his
to remember
iron,
how I did
he's
the whole
fine.
Usyk thing. It was just like
Slightly less, like more understandable, but not like super. You're just done.
Right.
It's an in-between space.
Guys, I saw something wild in there. It was like a vision. We need to go in there. I think something's about to go wrong for Ricky.
All right. I'm gonna knock on the door. Politely.
You give a polite, couple taps on the door. A few moments pass by, and the door opens, and inside you see the slugger, baseball bat over one shoulder, two of his friends, one of which has opened the door, and you see Ricky in a chair. Ricky looks to be damn near in tears, but he doesn't look hurt.
Guys, about done messing with my friend over there.
Slugger looks over at Usyk. We'll be done soon. Although your friend here, he's still got some debts he needs to pay. I reckon it's just about time for dinner. Why don't we all head back inside, get ourselves a nice bowl of stew, and we can, he looks at Ricky, talk about the rest of it.
Well, I owe that guy a life debt, so if there's an issue that I can help with, you let me know.
A life debt, you say? Well, that changes some things.
What kind of stew we getting?
Is there any other? Beef.
Ladies said they made beef stew, man.
I love beef soup.
chicken a la Ricky.
We just add more water to it.
Chicken of the field.
Do you guys have an immersion blender?
Isn't that what the kids do with them role-playing games?
Yeah, it's completely immersive.
Yeah, that's what they call it.
I like to be able to drink all of my food, so no chewing required. It's going to come out later on that like I have dentures or something like that.
You're looking forward to having no case in the future.
Slugger sets the bat down in the corner of the shed and just kind of waves everybody out. Gestures for Usyk to come in and get Ricky. He's a little shaky there. Might need some help getting back into the house. How's your friend doing? The one with the hole in his side.
Oh, we got him more patched up. He's gonna be all right. He just needs to sleep it off. He'll be fine.
That's good to hear. I'm glad.
Anyway, I borrowed the scalpel. I'm gonna go cut those ropes now.
Ropes?
Didn't you tie him down to the chair, or is he just handcuffed, or is he just in the chair?
He's just in the chair.
Oh. Well, then there's no need for a scalpel. Never mind.
Hope you mind if I slit your wrist.
If you borrowed that,
Oops.
I'd appreciate it if you put it back.
Did I say
Kinda need
scalpel?
that.
I meant, oops. Ooh, I hurt my scalpula.
Yeah. Ooh.
I would keep a little extra medical gear in case I need to patch people up. And Ricky was a little bit worried about that. So
Everybody is led back into the main house, and as everybody's walking in, you see Tina coming out and like steps onto the porch and takes a big old breath and then sees y'all walking in. Oh, I was just about to tell y'all supper's ready. Reads
Cool.
out.
Mighty fine to hear.
Ready to eat. And
Everybody is led inside, and the table is set for it looks to be a dozen people, but there's only maybe 8 or 9 here.
hey, Ricky, does being scared shitless make you hungry?
Ricky does not respond.
It's like trying to kid around with him, and he's like just sitting there.
He's having his Vietnam flashbacks.
Yeah.
nice.
I'm going to. They serve a stew, and I'm going to drink all of the liquid part of the stew, and then just like put the bowl back with all the meat and stuff in it.
Yeah.
Like imagine drinking a bowl of ramen but not eating any of the noodles or anything.
Nice. Nice.
You're the worst kind of person, Crawford.
Yep.
I was going to say post-traumatic shed, but now it's post-traumatic stew. Eesh. Ricky's never going to talk again after watching that.
Okay.
Oh, jeez. He thought it was torture in the garage.
Yeah.
Over dinner,
Slurping.
you find that the man with the baseball bat is his name is Barry.
Barry Bonds, of course.
He just introduces himself as Barry. He doesn't give a last name. Introduces Tina as his wife. He says that they have a couple of kids. Only one of them is here at the house right now, but they're rather shy. They don't like talking to guests. So they're just up in their room. They'll come have supper later. You're introduced to the other three men who were hanging out with Barry. They all seem to be friends of his. One of them, the one who introduced himself as the head vet, works with him at the wildlife reserve. And they ask you,
Just go by doctor.
they ask you who you are, what brings you to town, how are you liking things around here. Once, if any of you say that you are from up north, they start joshing with you. They're
just breaking your balls.
Kindly making fun of you, respectfully.
I'm from Northwest, ma'am.
Just as a side note, I'm calling it that kid that doesn't want to eat dinner with us, that's Sloth from the Goonies. Like,
Mhm.
it's going to come down. Hey, you guys, he's going to save us at the last minute.
We need that.
You, Crawford.
Well, you know what they
We
say
need
about Chekhov's son.
Yep.
Baby Jonesy. Baby Jonesy.
How much information do you all give them?
Oh, we sing like
I'm
an
actually curious if the Usyk personality or shell or mask has all the same knowledge as Isaac does. Is something going to spill here because of that?
He knows that stuff, but he's just like, that's my business. That's my business. Got to keep the list going.
I'd say that we just tell them, hey, like we've been tasked to find a fellow associate, a friend of ours that went missing. We're part of a broader organization that has to do with the National Park Service.
Oh my god! Okay, Crawford, I never tell a lie, Bartlett. I need you to give me a manipulation subterfuge, because that is a broad-faced lie. You ain't got shit
Is it
to
a
do with the
lie?
National Park Service.
Is it a lie if it's your cover story?
Yes.
I mean, that's part of your job, right? I mean,
if
that's
you
not.
told it was your cover, it would not be a lie. But if you're trying to play it off as your cover, you are lying to them.
You said manipulation subterfuge?
That is a straight lie, sir.
But if you remember, Crawford lies a lot, and he's not good at it. But he's always.
I will allow
doing
you one extra die because you should be used to giving people this spiel. Joe does have a point. This is something that y'all are trained for.
This is what we do, man.
4 dice.
Well, it's what most field agents do. Remember, you're a research team.
Yeah.
You know the by the book stuff, and goddamn, I guess they wouldn't put it in the book if it didn't work.
So it's 8 and up is a success, right?
Correct.
So we got a 9, a 6, a 7, and a 6. So one success.
Most of the story that you give, they don't really catch on to it, but enough of it is accurate that they don't think you're lying. At least they don't seem to. More than likely, they think you're just bad at your job.
You put in like useless details of how far apart trash cans must be on nature trails and stuff, right?
Yeah, it's we fix the signs and we build those little wood paths in the woods.
one of them corrects you. Actually, in the state of Texas, it's they're allowed to be only this far apart, but that's because we don't have to deal with such and such wildlife here.
Oh yeah. I'm from Montana, so you know, yeah, way up there.
I would have liked to have gone to Montana.
Different kind of cowboy country. You know how it is. You know what I'm saying?
They
slapping them on the side.
They do hit you with well, if they're a missing person, why didn't that go to one of the other departments? Typically, that's something that like FBI will take under their investigation. But you quickly hit them back with, well, you know, due to budget cuts, we can't really reach out for cross-department help. And as soon as you say that, right.
Yeah, of course. I was going to say that we're a highly specialized field in the National Park Service.
Too much red tape.
Have you ever seen what's the name of that show?
No.
Unsolved Mysteries?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. We're like the unsolved mysteries team.
Perhaps we can help solve the crime.
Technically, we're like the camera crew of the Unsolved Mysteries team, but
yeah, and I give them all the facts, like 20 people a year go missing in the national parks.
Oh my god! But they seem to believe you that you are all part of this department, which, while undergoing budget cuts, has 3 separate team members going to look for one guy who's in all likelihood dead.
Yep.
That seems perfectly reasonable to me, man.
Everybody does seem to take this in stride, and they kind of try to talk shop, but since that's not really what you do, you're a little lost. Barry does hold his hand up, and all the folks of his household quiet down. He says, now there's something that ain't adding up here to me. I don't mean to pry into your personal business, whatever it is that your department head wants to keep under wraps. But I've actually got quite a few friends up in high places, as you'd call it. And ain't none of this ringing a bell. Not what you do,
I'm like laughing, like because we were joking around and stuff like that. But as soon as Barry starts doing this, it gets like serious. Like the joy fades from my face, and the direct stare, eye contact with him.
Prolonged eye contact.
prolonged eye contact.
And with everything that Ricky here has told me, as well as our previous interactions, I'm inclined to believe that you're not who you say you are. But again, I don't mean to pry. Not going to have you say anything that you don't want to be said in good company.
I immediately deflect, and I hit him with a question.
All right.
Where are my drones?
There's 2 of them. Give them back now.
Those cost $2 billion.
Budget cuts, damn it.
That's where it went.
No, I immediately ask him.
By the way, have you ever been to Youth Street?
How long have you been in here in Cupano Nuevo?
Born here, raised here. I'm going to die here.
And then I immediately say, then there's some things that I can't say.
Nice.
I figured that was the case.
He's one of them. They're rangers.
So you're Mr. Ranger, Mr. P. Ranger.
But your friend Ricky here's told me that you're looking for some help with a bit of a sticky situation that you're in. Now I'm going to lay out the facts. Ricky here was the boss of a good friend of mine. One that I've known for a long time, and one that went missing 3 days ago.
I understand.
From what he told me, he went missing less than 100 feet from where y'all were staying.
Did he drive a motorcycle, perhaps?
No, It was a,
Okay, then never mind. Woo, we're good. Never mind.
He's dumpster diving.
anyways.
Nothing to see here. Where were you born?
Now,
What's your middle name?
my friend Manny, he didn't tell me what he was doing, but he told me where he was going. And he told me that there was something important that he had to go and get. And what Ricky's told me is that what he was supposed to get, sounds a lot like person that you were looking for.
I immediately glare at Ricky.
What you talking about, Ricky?
Ricky makes eye contact, but his expression is still.
Prolonged eye contact.
You, sir. What was your name there? I'm speaking to Isaac.
Crawford. Oh, Isaac.
You can call me Yusik.
Yusik? What is that? Polish? Never mind.
German Polish.
You said that you owed Ricky a life debt.
Yes, he got me out of jail, and then I helped patch up his boys, which one of them was named Mars, and found that out later. And I'm going to guess that the other one's name was Manny.
And I'm going to interject and say he's helped us a lot in furthering our goals.
He's also stood in the way of mine.
By chance, would you be willing to divulge those?
How many
He
times
opts
have
for
you been to
awkward
Capano
silence.
Nuevo? How much have you learned about how things work around here?
So far, it hasn't gone very well. And so far, I can already tell what your answer is. Please continue.
Oh, you sure are a smart one.
We've
So
been here.
be the
each-
one that breaks the mold, mister.
We've been here at least 5 times to count waking up here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I will tell you this. Ricky and his gang cause a lot of trouble for people and folks in town. But more importantly, it's causing trouble for my folks up at my work. It's no secret. Gang violence, drug smuggling, and other nefarious activities go on in Capano Nuevo.
As of any small town.
But the people that I work with need things like that out of the way. I'll give you my help in getting your boy out of his boss's hands. But I'm going to need your help getting rid of his boss. There's a certain way things work around here, and we'll say that his boss made sure that things were that way. And I need that changed.
Interesting. I'm wondering, I'm definitely thinking of what side is this guy on? They're being nice to us, but it doesn't sound great. But then again, if he needs the things change, I mean, things need to change in this town because they suck. This town sucks.
They only suck for visitors, though, right? I mean,
Well, yeah, I guess so. Crawford grabs his bowl of stew, takes a good slurp.
he eats a potato with disgust.
Yeah, and he's like, oh, what was that? Spits it back out.
Immediately, shot on sight. You do not spit a food.
I don't spit it on the ground. I should have spit it back in the bowl.
Shot on sight. You do not spit food.
I was like, I felt resistance and it freaked me out. And I'm gonna say I'll look at both Usyk and Jonesy and just kind of nod. You know, I think that like even though we have backup on the way, if this guy is willing to help us get closer, because really the backup's just manpower. Like no one's actually in the weeds of this place, right? Like Ricky was our only informant. Yeah, you know, Ricky was our only informant.
Yep. It was
so
his,
like
it was his mission. So
yeah. So I'd say that we would agree. And I'd be like, you know,
would y'all like some time to talk about it amongst yourselves? I can't give you any more information on what I need from you or what you're doing until you're ready to commit. And I know that that's a lot to ask from someone.
Jonesy just looks at Crawford because Crawford's taking point on this and just, I don't think we need any more time to talk about it.
Locked and loaded, Barry.
And I just say, sign us up. Where do we point the gun?
This one.
Rootin' tootin'.
So once you say that, the big old smile comes across Barry's face. Jonesy, your unseen sense gives you a little tickle as he smiles.
It's funny because I was just going to say that's something that Randy said earlier, kind of as a sidebar, but I wanted to say it seriously. Once we agreed to this, the first thing I wanted to say was, so what do you know about Young Street?
Usyk, when you see Barry smile, you get that same feeling in your chest when We All Sick takes control. And Crawford,
do I notice either of my colleagues feeling uncomfortable?
To notice that, you would need to give me a presence socialize or presence empathy.
I got points in 2, but I'll do empathy. Roll. Oh man, 0 successes. 5 to 5.
Got nothing. You're a little too focused on the conversation. You've got a bit of pressure on you, so you kind of, once you know that your allies are, have confirmed that they want to go for it, that's kind of just all you're sticking to.
Right. Okay. Yeah. Because if that was the case, I was just gonna like lean onto the table and be like, "But I don't want any more of this supernatural shit to happen no more."
Is Crawford actually saying that?
No, only if he noticed that my friends were uncomfortable.
No. Okay. The smile fades down into a grin, and he says, well, let's finish enjoying our meal. We can talk business after the fact. And have you all watched sports?
Oh, God.
And conversation goes...
it goes...
kind of according to where Barry leads it, he's it's clear that he's not trying to be rude. He's not talking over anybody. Everybody's allowed to speak their piece. But when he does open his mouth, everybody else at the table kind of just quiets down. He seems to have some sort of weight here. Maybe it's just because this is how a Southern home works. He's clearly the patriarch.
He's got
but maybe there's
gravitas.
something else here.
No.
Right. He could just be that charismatic. As we ponder our next steps forward, I will need to step away for a second.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, and I fully, when we get to talking with this dude, I fully do want to ask him. It's about Youth Street. I kept saying Young Street, but Youth Street.
Youth Street.
I definitely want to hear somebody talk about it, or at least somebody react to the name and see how that comes out. Especially when the last thing of the PDA is a file name called Terminator, and it's all in caps. Keep away from Youth Street. Yeah, we want to know what that is.
This guy's a fucking shadow demon. and we're probably going to run into some issues.
Yeah.
Well, the other thing too, when you talked about him with the sword with runes on it, my thought was, is that the 16th century thing, or is that something else altogether? Because the photos in the the storage unit were 16th century, but that doesn't feel to me old enough to be a runic sword. But maybe it is. Just interesting thoughts, because the baseball bat turns into a sword, and it's supernatural, and Shadow Demon, and Ricky's scared crapless, and yeah, definitely fun. And then Isaac gets a little more serious, changes a couple letters in his name, and now he means business.
And definitely clinched his pistol a little tighter that he was holding on to, jokingly saying he was ready when he saw that smile. The glare came on for a minute, and you just I want to put one between your friggin' eyes.
So Usyk clinched his pistol. Crawford clenched his anus. I mean,
Jonesy just relaxed.
Yeah, relax, man. I want to know more about this. But I do plan on bringing up the names of the files, because if they mean something anywhere else, like Wild Things, what about the Prince? What about Marble Martyr? Right? And just throw those out there.
I'm assuming that Marble Martyr is a place, like it's like a establishment of some kind.
That was just a nickname given to the statue.
Yes. Yeah, I forgot. I totally forgot. That was like
it could still. I mean, honestly, it could still be the name of a place. It could be the where the statue was carved. Right? It could be a carving place called the Marble Martyr, because that would actually.
But we haven't looked into the woods at all.
Oh, and now we got to check the library too, because we have the references.
And part of when we were leading you around on a leash, one of the other things is we saw.
But I think he won't mind if we were talking about him the whole time. Oh, hey, man.
It could use a little trim, guys. I agree.
I think it could too.
Remember when it was purple?
It is a very long shirt. Yeah.
That chest hair.
One of the other things was there's a stretch of highway where coyotes are heard but never seen.
Yes,
I'm assuming I'm assuming that sort of links into this woods thing as well.
Yeah,
there's just something wrong with the woods.
What's that?
We were mainly talking about things I was going to try and bring up with this guy, just throwing out some of these file names and to see if anything might stick or gain his attention. I did definitely want to mention Youth Street, and maybe it's easier to try and talk to him alone instead of in front of everybody. But I wanted to throw some of those things out there as we talk to him in kind of the casual manner that we do over the sportsing talk and the fooding talk and what have you.
Okay. Before we go into the actual role play, what are these bits of lore that I have forgotten?
When we were leading Joe around on a leash, there were two things. It was the report of the Kelpie at the pier, but then there was also the stretch of highway where coyotes are heard but never seen.
Yeah. It was an urban area. People swear they hear coyote packs all night long, but we didn't investigate it.
Okay. Yep. The coyote one I had forgotten, because we'd brought up the pier earlier during recap, and I remembered
and we also had Kelpie. As another bit of lore, we weren't just talking about it while you were away, but the other bit of lore I had down here was there was a warehouse area where a warehouse had burned down 30 years ago and 4 workers had died. So it was just another bit of the local lore.
Okay. Continuing with dinner, you learn a bit more about the people that weren't attending, and just kind of more along the lines of who they are as people, not necessarily what they do or how they would relate to you. It's kind of just like, Peter here, he loves fishing. One time he caught a fish this big. I do macrame in my free time, just kind of small things, incidental things that definitely won't make a difference. Wait,
speaking of macrame, what about the statue at the church, man?
I was gonna.
I'm not gonna have any good segues. It's just gonna be throwing shit out there whenever there's silence.
Yeah, I was gonna lightly pry as well.
you ever seen that thing? It's crazy.
A lot of these questions that you try to give as jokes or try to slide in casually. They kind of get joked over or quickly dismissed, but every time that one of them is brought up, you see Barry tap on his fingers with his thumb, and then he gestures for whoever was speaking to continue. Once the conversation finds a natural lull and everybody seems to be finished with their dinner, Barry quickly and firmly says, "All right, everybody, your time at my place is done. Thank you for coming. Don't worry about cleaning up. We'll take care of it."
Hey, Barry, before we take off, have you ever heard anything about a ruined sword?
Not y'all. I still want to talk with
Everybody
y'all.
else.
There was some questions you had that didn't quite get answered.
I'll hold it for the moment.
Once he clarifies that, everybody except Tina gets up and leaves. Tina gets up, clears the table, and quickly comes back to the table. Sits down on Barry's right.
Is this a shoes off household? Or do we all still have our shoes on?
Everybody still has their shoes on.
Okay, because I'm going to reach into my cowboy boot and pull out my last bouillon cube. And
Can
mix
we
it in.
get some
Mix it
espresso or
into
something?
Shoe bouillon.
It's in a plastic casing.
Shuyon.
I would also like a weight 20 dumbbell, please.
It's like my dip, remember? I just kind of like swish it around in my mouth and spit it back in.
I got to get my iron in for the day. Pumping.
Put a little bit of the
Anyways.
bouillon between your cheek and gum.
Now that we have a chance to talk privately, go ahead and shoot. Any of the
Do
questions
you
you have.
insist?
Blah, blah, blah. Dude, I so want to know about Youth Street. What's going on at Youth Street?
Ugh, Youth Street. One of the newer banks opened up there maybe 4 years ago. It's just been a bunch of suits moving around. But anytime any of my friends have ever tried to go there and open an account, they're all turned away for some asinine reason or another. I've been there myself once. Second I stepped in there, I knew I wasn't welcome. The security guard they have, I don't know what's his problem exactly. But the way he stares at you, it's just inhuman.
Inhuman. That's kind of rich, dude. Kind of say it under my breath. Yeah.
And what's that
All
supposed
right.
to mean?
Lot of creepy stuff in this town, dude. You say inhuman, unhuman, not really human. Yeah, I dig it.
Uh-huh.
Like that statue, man. Come on.
Oh, don't even get me started on that.
It's
Got
creepy.
enough of that with Nika.
So you've seen a lot of things around here that you can't really explain by chance?
Oh, I can explain pretty much everything I've come across. At least I think.
Except for that security guard.
Is that a skunk? What was
What?
that?
No.
Eli,
That's-
behind you to your right. Yeah.
That's my dog.
It looked like a
That's
skunk.
Buddy.
His name
all-
is Skunk.
Black and white. It was like
He smells like a skunk, but that's just my dog. And yes, that is in and out of character here.
Yeah.
I have a border collie named Buddy. He has black and white fur. Very,
He just looked
very
like a bushy
fluffy
skunk
tail.
tail for a second. I'm like, what is?
Yeah, it kind of does look like a skunk tail. You know, like when they raise it up, and how like the fur, long fur, just kind of hangs down. Kind of looks like that sometimes. Anyways,
For you video watchers there.
so that's kind of all I can tell you about Youth Street. What makes you ask?
I was crunching.
Oh,
Good dessert, man. I guess because I feel like Crawford mostly came clean with them about what we were here for. I'm just going to mention I found this old PDA. All right. I'll just tell him I found this info on this old electronic device I found, dude. So I'm like, I want to know what it's about. I'm not telling him like where we found it or who we think it belongs to. Just we found this old thing and it had some stuff on it. So partial truth, kind of like Crawford did.
Huh. Alrighty. Well, fortunately for me, Youth Street doesn't really play into what I need from y'all, or what y'all need from me, it seems. So, what else you got? Any other
Randy, you
questions?
were going to mention the sword. I'm curious to see what happens with that. So yeah,
So I'm
I'm a
serious.
watch.
I was wondering if you knew anything about like a sword with ruins on it. Have you ever seen anything like that before?
I try to describe it the best I can of what the ruins look like and everything. I don't describe that I was in a room that or anything. I just was very curious. If that would ring any bells to him.
Isaac, give me a manipulation
So when I die, guys,
socialize.
manipulation, socialize,
Manipulize them,
socialize.
Manipulatize them.
socialate.
One success looks like with a 10.
Would you
I will
like to re-roll that?
I'll give one more roll.
Oh
D10?
yeah.
No, just a
Wait.
7.
The one success. Okay.
I'd like to
And
push. No, just kidding.
so this is going to be there. What do I got? Ooh, okay.
You got
So the question clearly strikes a nerve with him. But he tells you what, like some sort of mall piece you get from some edgy goth store. Wouldn't know anything about that. Not really my scene.
Okay. Well, if you insist on that, but
I do. Any other questions?
hmm.
I got a few of my own, but
Do you
I'd
have any?
like for you-
Do you have any plans on how to get the boss out in the open?
Oh, we'll get to that here in a moment. Y'all had some questions outside of what our next steps are that y'all wanted answered. So I wanted to get those out of the way before we get into the real meat and potatoes of the meal.
Crawford
Potatoes,
finally,
which were not consumed. Looking
Don't
at
get me
Crawford.
wrong, dude, but why are you so creepy?
I've been told by a lot of city folk that I don't quite sit well with them. Maybe it's just because I'm a country boy through and through.
Dude, you seem to sit just fine, but like, why are you creepy?
I'm afraid I'm not sure I understand the question then.
I ain't
All right.
really
I just give
city
Crawford
folk.
that look. Time for Crawford to speak up again.
Yeah. I ain't really city folk or nothing. But I do have to kind of agree with my associate here that you kind of give us a little bit of a vibe. I'm not going to lie. Along with the rest of this damn town. The biggest question that I could possibly ask you right now is what the fuck is going on in Cupano Nuevo that makes everybody a little bit of a jackass and so standoffish from anybody that shows up here? I mean, I couldn't even talk to the person at the Burger Monarch without getting shooed out by the manager.
Like, is it all because we tried this in a small town? Now we're regretting coming here?
There's
Ignore
an
me.
answer.
No joke.
there is an answer to that question, a legitimate answer that might need a lot of context. But I think before I can give that answer, I have to ask you, if you were presented with something unexplainable, something that doesn't fit your mold, but you need to know how it works, what's your process? How do you accept the unexplainable?
Well, to be honest, I've already been subject to the unexplainable more than once in this town.
Well, then it sounds like you're halfway to answering your own question. I'll tell you what I think you can understand. Capano Nuevo is an old place, as much as the name makes you think otherwise. The original town was founded a couple centuries ago. Probably more than a couple, actually. Had a lot of natives with their way of thinking, their beliefs. Had colonizers coming in with theirs. Conflict between the two. An evolution of their beliefs. Now, as much as their beliefs evolved, their reality didn't. That old world thinking is still here. And I don't mean in like the color your skin, I've never met your kind of deal. I mean, there are forces here older than the people that have lived here. Those forces don't like change.
I understand. I'd like to tell you more about why we're here, but the truth and the reality of it is that anybody that we do tell has to disappear.
Is a liability, a threat to security, is not seen within the future of your company. Is that accurate?
More or less. That we need to find our associate. That's why we're here. But we need to know not only where he is, but why. And we have to know the why.
If we don't
Otherwise,
find
we can't
out,
go
man,
back.
they're just going to keep coming and coming and coming.
It might not be us.
Oh, I know.
It might be somebody else, but it's never going to stop.
I think I'm seeing now what's going on behind the scenes here. Your kind have been coming here for a long time. My kind have been driving them out. Most recently, Ricky there, or rather his boss, have been the ones driving you folks out. I'm not saying I'm going to let you in, but the way he's doing it lets a bit more of the
Undesirables.
not so sociable kind come through here.
Drawing too much attention or something?
In a way, he's going about it in a way that doesn't let the folks out here really live.
Sorry,
What's
go
that,
ahead.
Zeb?
I was just about to hit him with some truth. I'm about to be a real dick here.
You said everybody around here is standoffish, guarded, territorial.
Mm-hmm.
It's because they have to be. Anybody that gets a little too chummy finds themselves. And he looks at Ricky,
Chum?
talking to people that they really shouldn't be, getting involved in things that they shouldn't be, and finding themselves in the ground a little earlier than they should be.
I'm gonna look right at him, and I'm gonna say, I'm understanding a little bit about you, and it sounds like you understand a little bit about us. But one thing that you don't seem to understand is that you're not special. There is this same thing is happening all over the country, and we are going to keep coming, and we're going to keep coming. And unfortunately, there's nothing that can be done to stop it. Because again, like I said, you might feel special. This might feel like something that is only happens here, but you're wrong. So we'll help you with what you need help with. And but we might be a little bit more demanding later on. Just please keep
We
that.
might be a little bit more demanding later on. I like that it's so gentle yet threatening.
Well, you must be a man after my own heart. Because I think I could tell you the same thing.
We all believe in what we see.
And some of us can see a bit more than others.
For now.
I believe in lots of stuff I can't see, man.
Yep, some of us see a lot of things, don't we?
Yeah. So to give context, the only reason that Crawford's being this upfront is because he knows backup is coming. He knows backup is coming. Like, and this guy doesn't know. I mean, I made the call while I was taking a shit with the shower on. You know what I mean? Like,
Wow.
Nobody knows. So
We can already hear the buzzing of the backup drone squadron coming.
and they keep crashing. It's gonna be 2 days later, and we're gonna be like, "Where's that backup?"
All right. Well, with all the dick measuring out of the way, let's get down to the actual plan. What I need from y'all is information. I want to know everything that you've learned about Ricky, his companions, and his boss, and any leads you might have. In particular,
You know, we'd have to read our notes from previous episodes, dude.
Yep.
Come on.
in particular,
refer to the recap.
I'm
at the
looking
beginning of the episode.
for anything regarding a man named Sebastian Fernandez.
Oh, we saw the name.
The
Sebastian.
older the record, the better.
You mean like
Hey,
16th century, man?
did he play like the blues or something? We can go find that record.
That's I guarantee that's what's at the library.
Yeah, that's right on the money. Jonesy, was it?
Yeah, man. Saw Sebastian in like a journal from like referencing old stuff. I'm being deliberately vague. Just because. Yeah.
I'll need to get a bit more context to know if that's the right lead. Might I ask, where did you come across that?
Dude had like wife, a couple kids, went to the amusement park a lot.
Amusement park?
I don't know. You don't give us much information. Everybody's against me.
Jonesy sees a lot of stuff, so it probably would have been in one of his visions, and maybe they told him.
Visions,
I
you
don't know.
say?
Yeah, I'm pretending to be testy at this point because I feel like Crawford has put up a more strong front. So I'm just going to try and berate the guy a little and see if anything happens. What the
Well,
hell?
Jonesy gets high a lot, so he
There's
sees
that
a lot.
too. Yeah, yeah. Dude.
Oh, what sorts of visions do you have?
Well, you know, like when certain people,
Where do they come from?
when certain people smile the wrong way and you get the bad feelings about them, if you know what I mean.
I know what you mean. I mean, I know what you mean. Totally.
You just got a strong intuition? Is that all it is? Or is this actual visions?
Yeah, sure, man. Sometimes I can peer through the veil and see things like black and white.
Like his bride. Okay, can we keep moving?
Really?
Yeah.
You actually know how to push past the veil.
I've done it. I'm not going to say I know how. But I've done it.
I've done it, dude. Like, seriously.
When you say that, Barry has a realization.
Hmm.
Oh. Huh. Sorry, I thought you all knew more. That definitely explains the... Okay. Well, seems there's been a misunderstanding about what our exact situation is here. I'm not sure if you all are up to task.
I assure you we are not. But we are here nonetheless.
And I'm just gonna say, do you have any other choice?
Oh, there's always a choice. I'm wondering if y'all are the best choice, though.
I don't see anybody else here.
Oh, well. What I need from y'all, like I said, is these leads on this gentleman, Sebastian. My friends aren't exactly avid readers.
Yeah.
Having them research anything is kind of like herding cats. But any information you can get on Sebastian, on Ricky's old work, or that other feller, he was part of Ricky's crew, right? Anything that he can give you would also help.
Mars? Yeah.
Mars. All right. All right. That's a funny name for a guy like that.
That's all I know. He may have had a longer name, but that's all I know.
His full name is Marsephone.
Well, come with me, and I can show you some of my notes. See if there's anything there that can help you find his whereabouts. Because Ricky wasn't able to give up a location, and he gets up and he starts leading you all down the maze of hallways. Ricky wasn't able to give us a location, so figuring out where he's going to be is probably going to give us better results than where he's at. Takes you down the halls, and just like with Crawford trying to find the restroom, it seems to go on much longer than the house should be able to accommodate. But after a few minutes, he opens a door, and inside is a study. It's a bit messy. There's stacks of like 3 subject spirals, some binders, a couple of like manila folders, a very old computer. He says most of what should help should be in that filing cabinet there. He opens it up, he picks up a couple of files, and gives one to each of you. You find on each of them, scrawled in a permanent marker on one side, is the end of the episode.
Oh,
Nice. Had to get there sooner or later.
Eventually.
We got it. So let's jump right into the episode recap stuff, Eli. What do we want to cover first?
So at the end of the session, we will do experience points.
yay.
Yeah. We get them all.
Yes, no, you don't. You do not get
What?
all
You gotta
the
catch up.
experience. No, I don't. You're not making up for lost sessions. We haven't had sessions.
So what you're saying is we each get 10 more experience.
No.
Got it. So now I have 115.
I'm going to hurt you.
Now, as a reference, right now I have on my sheet 11. I don't remember. I think we used some experience once,
Yes.
but I don't know that we've done much since then. And I have 11 on mine. I'm assuming we all have a similar number. Maybe not exactly that, but close. I don't know if you guys can see
Should be.
yours. No.
I have 12.
Yeah. So,
9 right now.
yeah. So we're all close to that, between 9 and 12.
Alrighty. So then we can actually move on to the doling out of experience.
All right.
First things first, every person that showed up gets an experience point. Thank you for showing up. You too, listener and or viewer, you also get an experience point. Spend it wisely.
At least one.
Another point is learning curve. There was some opportunities to learn, but most, with a good portion of it being recap, I see this one not working out. But I'll still ask. Joe, do you feel that there was anything in particular that Jonesy learned that expanded on his worldview? Or his
Yes,
understanding of the situation?
insofar as previous to this this session, kind of like the last one, I remember saying that Jonesy thought that Victor was dead the whole time. Just kind of learned that, well, hey, Victor's actually alive. This one, I'm going to say Jonesy thought that the supernatural was a thing in this area and has now learned, if not just a thing, it is also the people. So this guy is clearly a supernatural thing. It's not just that there's an area that people go to that's a supernatural area, or the statue super creepy or whatever. There's something about this person. So that's immediately expanded something for him. For
Who would
sure.
have thought? Hell is other people.
Yeah, it's crazy.
All right. I like it.
Okay.
Randy.
Dude, that almost verbatim what Joe was saying, because I was from Isaac, now Usyk, going into the garage at the time and seeing the what do you say they look like? They look like 4 figures, and one of them had the sword, and it just seemed very demonic and like, and questioning about him and his standoffness from like the question a bit, and just like yeah, whatever relics you find in a shop, whatever. It just really threw some ears into Usyk's threw some thoughts into Usyk's brain of just that these might be just literally demons deep down inside, or
Ooh,
I don't know.
That's I like that read from it. And if Isaac / Usyk / we all sick runs with that in the future, I think it could make for a very interesting last couple of sessions for this chronicle. Go ahead and get the for that.
Eli, when you listen back to this episode, you're going to see as soon as you took your short break and you took your headphones off, first thing Zeb said was, "This guy's a fucking shadow demon." It's like that's the first thing he said. Yeah.
Not quite.
No, but that we were all thinking something similar, and Zeb just flat out said it was before you even were off the picture frame. He was already saying it.
Awesome.
It was awesome.
I love it. Zeb.
I don't think Crawford learned anything
No?
specifically. Like to his character, no, I don't think so. Because he didn't experience anything that Isaac did. He didn't get the chill on his back from the smile or anything like that. He was just locked into the conversation piece. So no, I don't think he learned anything.
Did Crawford learn anything about, I don't know, there being other demons being released by a certain boss dude that are not friendly-ish like the current ones we talk to sometimes?
Invasive cat is invasive.
Yeah, I'm not going to see this cat after this month. His owner is moving out.
Taking
From
over.
what I can tell, that cat will be back every Tuesday night just to jump on you.
Maybe.
But yeah, I even with what Randy just said, like I don't think as the character, I don't.
Yeah,
think
I don't
he
think
really-
Crawford found this guy to be a demon. It was just Zeb's like, this guy's a demon.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah. Me with my with my admin knowledge,
Yeah.
I knew.
It's admin access. Give him that
Yeah.
info. Yeah.
The clip notes you got to see ahead of time.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mhm.
In that case, Crawford will not be getting the learning curve XP. Next one, role playing. I liked the role play this session. from everybody here. Joe, you set the precedent in the last session that Jonesy is taking a back seat on the social situation here and following Crawford's lead. And you brought that into this session, letting him do most of the talking and following up on his presentation, his stance. I think you did a
when
good
I
job.
thought he was becoming a hard ass, I decided to be a little
Yeah,
bit of a hard ass.
It is good. It's good. I like it. Oh, excuse me, Randy.
Bless you.
I think you did a good job of staying in character. Nothing real stand out here as far as your role play goes. Read another way, that means that you've been very consistent with Isaac, even having to take the curveball that was Isaac fading into the subconscious.
It's hard because Yusik usually comes out when it's more of a Isaac's building up to an aggression thing, not just always aggression. So it was trying to like parse my words to be straightforward more and less kind of whimsical with language.
It did come out. I do think that you did a good job of portraying that. And I think that your not confusion, but I guess inexperience as a player with this particular persona actually helped to portray it, because this entity doesn't come out a lot.
No.
Usually it's Isaac going straight to we all sick.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
So having to find that middle ground and having that read as the middle ground, not knowing what to do, I think it worked. And I would like to give you the XP point for this as well.
Thank you.
Crawford, I love this little like heel turn after calling for backup. I love it. It's suddenly more brash, more confident. He's starting to feel a little safer.
Yeah.
And that's come out very well. I loved every moment of it. So you go ahead and get the roleplay experience as well.
The only problem with Crawford is he's like getting this feeling like, yeah, the police are on the way, not realizing they're not here yet. Which is what.
Oh, don't worry. I'm taking that into account.
So he's like, yeah, what you gonna? Oh yeah.
It's been over an hour since Zeb mentioned a cigarette, so there's some calmness in Crawford. Yeah.
The final XP point for standard is heroism. Do any of you here feel that any one character or multiple characters really put their necks out on the line for someone else? This one,
I'm gonna say nope. For heroism, I don't. Yeah,
I mean,
Randy.
Isaac patched up a dude again. That's the only thing coming close to it. I mean, there was the whole could have charged in the room, die instantly thing, but that got laid out pretty plain and simple. Don't do that.
Sometimes discretion is the better part of valor.
And he didn't even mean to go in there to begin with. So
I guess to that point, I don't know if I would say heroism, but sticking up for somebody perceived as a friend, sticking up for Ricky, making sure Ricky's okay. Because Isaac Usyk did more than once mention that Ricky's important, the life debt, what have you. So whether you would go so far as to say that's heroism or not, it is at least sticking to somebody that you've established as a friend, if not acquaintance.
Definitely trying to keep him alive.
Yeah,
for sure. So
he didn't stick his neck out at all, but he followed up a lot to make sure that Ricky would be okay.
Yeah, I don't think that would qualify for the heroism point.
Yeah.
It is a good point, and I think that should be part of why Randy got the role play experience, because it is a consistent part of his character now, and he really is trying to do his best to keep Ricky safe and alive.
Once you spent a few hours in lockup with somebody, you're buddies for life.
Yeah, you never really know someone until you're at the local station for 6 hours. That's really when you get to know a guy.
Nice.
I got kicked in the face by a horse.
Little
Oh,
flashback
yeah.
for you.
Oh man.
Good old
The bonus XP. First things first. Who had the best scene overall, or stuck out the most in a scene as having particularly good roleplay?
Crawford talking to Barry stuck out to me quite well. Just
Yeah.
you know, knowing the backup's on the way, so just like, yeah, what's up, mother? What are you gonna do about it? I got some questions for you. Let me go and talk to you.
Yep. I agree with that. Crawford going toe to toe with Barry Bonds. I mean, yeah.
All right. Zeb, I'm sorry. If you have a contrary opinion, it doesn't matter. You're outvoted. Because I agree.
Take your point.
Yeah.
You get an extra XP point.
Because even if Jonesy did anything in that case, it was only because Crawford did it first. Right? Jonesy was just following the lead if anything happened there. Right.
Very true.
Next up,
And usually was
Best
just trying
joke.
not to shoot the guy.
best joke or funniest scene.
The recap, the entire recap.
Sorry, my
I
cat's
think we
yelling at me
laughed
again.
as much in the recap as with anything else we've done so far.
Pretty much. Yeah.
Yeah.
We are terrible at this job.
We had the most successful recap ever. We should all get a point for that.
You know what? I agree.
I lobby for that. Yeah.
It was a very fun recap.
Yeah.
It did get us laughing. It made me remember something that had me dying. Oh, right.
The carpenter.
Jesus, failed jazz musician.
Yes.
Yeah.
I remember the session that had happened,
Yeah.
and it blew me away then, too.
I also feel it was probably the most collaborative recap. Now, granted, we spent 40 minutes on it, and that helped. But everybody contributed, and everybody had things to add to whoever the current narrator was. Everybody had additions. So I really, frankly, I really enjoyed the recap. So it was pretty cool.
It was very good.
I will give the point for funniest scene to everybody for recap, and that includes you, viewer. Again, enjoy a second XP point.
Nice.
Spend it well. Spend it well.
Well, actually, just use it to level up your watching skills for next episode.
Because we will
It's
be
it's the only thing you can put the point in.
Exactly. You
yeah.
could do listening, I suppose, depending on if you're watching or listening. You put it in the appropriate skill.
audience. I need you to roll for presence.
Oh, actually, in the latest edition, viewing and listening got rolled into the observation skill.
Nice.
So they're both the same thing.
Nice.
Final bonus XP point, just cause. Who do we want to throw it to? I kind of want to throw it to Yusik, honestly. I want to throw it to Randy, just because
He has expended all of his willpower
He's
at this point.
That
he
is
is-
true.
Randy has botched so many times.
No
Yeah.
willpower. This has been my favorite character to fail at everything he tries to do.
So good.
I'm surprised he
So
didn't shoot
good.
himself when he finally fired his gun. I mean, seriously.
Fail power.
Any
Definitely cool.
other votes for Just Cause?
No, I think that's a good one.
Yep.
Just cause fail power. Definitely.
Yeah.
Uh,
And that is going to be it for bonus XP.
Nice.
yay.
The next session is going to be prep time and discussion of the plan to get Sebastian. In the preparation phase, your characters will be leveling up. So you'll be
Nice.
allowed to expend XP on any stat that you see fit. Remember that the book has the XP costs for different categories. Have already sent in our group chat the quick reference for the pages. So if you need to find that, you know where to find it. Does anybody have any closing thoughts for the session here before we get to our outro?
It was a good session. I was glad to be back. It's been fun.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
Definitely good
That's
to
good
be
stuff.
back. I look forward to having the next session here, and I look forward to all of you lovely people out there tuning in to watch and or listen / observe.
And if you guys haven't seen, we have a couple episodes of Played Up on the YouTube.
Oh yeah.
The YouTube.
The
You should
On
listen,
the internet.
you should listen to the podcast while playing Played Up.
Yeah.
Nice.
It's good times all around.
In the meantime, we can get the F out. F, there it is.
Joe holding up a fridge magnet of the letter
Yeah.
F.
That's funny because I just stick it on my desk. I have no idea how it ended up under my feet. But
Oh, well.
yeah, in the meantime, though, we can do that and we can all just say, bye.
Adios.
The preceding podcast was brought to you by One Joe Young. You can find us online at adventuresfromtheshed.com.
I am so weary now, my brain is gone. I don't know what obstacle got in my way.
So now I'm going to shoot them. Oh, wait, what?